Okay, so welcome again, Elaine, to the Zoom room. So let's have a look at our quote for today. It's a bit of teaching around that. That'll lead us into the lesson. And there's some text to do if you have time. So see if we can get the lesson done, at least. So give me a moment to get the live stream going. And I'll share my screen. Okay, so where are we? Microsoft. Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
You can read the quote for us.
Yeah. Acknowledging the good that you already have in your life
Great.
is the foundation for all abundance.
Okay. Sorry, just start again, I think.
Oh, yeah. Acknowledging the good that you already have in your life is the foundation for all abundance. Dave?
Yeah. So very relevant. Maybe you can send that to Andy as well.
Yeah, for Dave and Andy. Dave, I've got a message for you. Acknowledge the good that you already have in your life is the foundation for all abundance.
Yeah, Eckhart Tolle.
Message for us. Do you get that?
Blank face.
It's got a blank face.
Blank face.
It's
Hi,
for
Dave.
both. John was saying hello.
Hello.
Do you want to just say there, Dave?
Hello.
Hi there. Yeah.
Just giving you.
Nice to see you again.
It's glorious weather here, so we're sunbathing.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, it's nice here too.
have you seen the weather there, Dave? Look at the weather there. With the green.
Rain.
No, green.
Green.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's about 25, 26 degrees.
25, 26 degrees. Whereabouts are you in Dorset?
Dorset, yeah.
It's in Dorset. Yeah, beautiful.
North Dorset.
I do love the English summer. You can't beat it. Love it. We're going back again, aren't we, Dave, at the end of July? Sorry, anyway, I'm doing all this small talk.
Well, it's relevant because it's about acknowledging the good.
Yeah.
And that's the foundation for all abundance. So if you acknowledge what's good and you have an attitude of gratitude, it creates a different energy in your mind and your life. And that then attracts more of the same.
Yeah.
Which would seem to be obvious, but and common sense. But in the upside down world of the ego, the power of gratitude is anything but common knowledge. Because most of us are conditioned by parents, teachers, peers, larger society into a mindset of scarcity and fear from a pretty early age. So I remember my dad saying, so when I was leaving school, about to leave school, there were very few jobs available for young people leaving school. So my future prospects of getting a job were dim.
Right.
Hardly a positive message, is it?
No. That's
very, very careful when you're just starting out. Fortunately, I decided when I was 13 that I just wasn't going to listen to whatever he said. So I discarded it. Didn't really penetrate. And I also decided at a young age, I didn't want my future to be tied to any external company or job market. So I've always run my own businesses. I've never had a full-time job.
Much better, yeah. I can understand
Well,
that.
it has its moments because you don't have a regular income. So
No.
you know that's why most people are fearful, because it's like, well, how are you going to survive without a regular income? But
Of course.
you know, somehow I've managed. 50 years. We're like 30 years into that program, and somehow you do. So it's you know, it's about overcoming your fear and being grateful for what you have, and somehow things work out. That's been my experience anyway.
It's a lot better way to live that, actually, because if you're just stuck in a 9 to 5 and then retire at now 67, it's to me that just isn't living.
Well, that was never my model. I mean, I remember looking at that whole, you know, equation. My dad was very much, you know, work, get a good job, get a pension. I'm like, so you live for your pension? No, that's not living. So I never followed that. I never subscribed to it. You know, it's like life's a daring adventure or nothing. I think that quote struck me at a young age from Helen Keller. It's a daring adventure or nothing. So, you know, go for it, go big and then go home. Go big and then go home. In the spiritual sense, you know, it's about letting that abundance that you are, that your true nature, which is abundant because it's infinite, guide you in your thoughts, words, and actions, and guide you through life. And then you have not necessarily, you know, huge wealth that may or may not come depending on your life circumstances and what, you know, what's required for you. You know, what's your path. But you have an abundant life in terms of a rich experience of life, in terms of your enjoyment, your fulfillment, your contentment, your, you know, connections with other people. This is what abundant life means, which is the complete opposite of scarcity. So I've seen the effect of that programming of my father on my siblings, because they were more affected by it. They actually bought it, you know, they believed it. And then if you believe it, it becomes part of your thought system and obviously has the power to affect thoughts, words, decisions, actions, and your whole life through that mechanism.
But are they happy?
I wouldn't say particularly.
No, right. Because some people seem to be happy with that, so fair enough.
No, I mean they both unemployed at this stage. My my sister has a sort of part-time business. She's trying to go back into the corporate world. But the scarcity program has been fundamental to, you know, to their lives. And if you live your life according to that program, then what can you expect? That can never make you happy. So the scarcity program is so entrenched in our world because it's fundamental to the continued existence of the ego or belief in separation in our minds. After all, if we already have everything and we experience no lack or scarcity, we'd be in heaven, which is the state of pure formless awareness, which is infinite and eternal. So pure formless awareness has no limits. It has no boundaries. It's infinite and it's eternal. It's not limited in space or time, rather than this finite, limited, and very ephemeral world. So that's why, you know, scarcity has to exist in this world. Otherwise, there would be no ego. So a sense of lack, loss, limitation, and scarcity become the ego's best defense against the experience of infinitely abundant love and life that lies buried under the ego's dark and distorted thoughts within our minds. So this is why the world is the way it is. This is why scarcity, lack, loss, limitation are so much a part of life in this world, because the ego requires them in order to perpetuate its identity. So the obvious antidote to the scarcity program is to feel grateful for whatever you're experiencing right now. And so I have an abundance of, I'm grateful for the experience, not sometime in the future, not if I get something I think I want or need, right now, as it is. Whether it's rain or shine, it's even, relatively easy to be grateful when it's like this. And we're in summer and it's nice and it's warm, but the attitude must maintain no matter what the circumstances are, rain or shine, good times, not so good times, it's the same, because nothing's really changed. Only the illusion of form changes, circumstances, situations, weather, everything here is changeable. But what doesn't change is your infinite nature, which is always the same, which is infinite, it's eternal. So if you're connected to that, then you have a way to experience abundance always and in all ways. The true abundance really lies in a rich experience of life, which you appreciate and are grateful for the ordinary experiences you're having, as well as the occasional extraordinary ones. Okay? So we call it an extraordinary ordinary life. If I have an attitude of gratitude, just a simple thing like sitting in a garden, or having nice weather, or having a meal, or just sitting and just being able to sit and and be quiet and be still. These are extraordinary ordinary experiences where there's a sense of fulfillment and gratitude, which is love in action in what you're doing. So in fact, if you can be fully present to and grateful for whatever shows up in your life, so even when things seemingly go wrong, when things are challenging, that's the real test. Can you still be grateful? Then you have the key to experiencing what Yeshua called abundant life in the New Testament, John 10:10. So let's have a look at that quite quickly. So the thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. He's talking about the ego. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full, or have it more abundantly, as some translations. Have it more abundantly. So you might ask yourself, how can I be grateful for the challenges? And this is where the Holy Spirit's thought system will really help you, because it's only through the challenges, correctly perceived from its point of view, that you're forced to face the limitations of the ego's thought system, and that you're given the opportunity to let these limiting thoughts go, thereby opening your mind to accepting the true abundance of life that's always been there, but has been denied by you. So the challenges are there to grow you and to help you to find more joy, ultimately, more joy and more gratitude, more love than you currently experience. An opportunity, in other words, to upgrade your thought system into this abundant life mindset and experience. So the openness of mind, attitude of gratitude, really powerfully influence the quantum field. So we live in this field of energy called the quantum field, which is driven by thought. It's particles of thought and waves of emotion. It is literally a thought. The universe is a great thought projected out, rather than a great machine, as one of the early quantum physicists said. So we have a thought that has power, because that's you have a thought that's the currency of this universe, is thought and emotion. And so it's going to have an effect. Whatever your thoughts are, whatever your emotions are, they are being broadcast into the whole, whether you like it or not. You're communicating all the time, just by the nature of thought. That's the case. So when you put out certain kinds of thoughts, quality of thoughts and emotions, then that influences the quantum field. can't really comprehend with the mind, but we see the results. This is why things like the law of attraction, so on, work. But this is going way beyond the law of attraction. True abundance is not about acquiring more material stuff, having more special relationships, or achieving certain goals. It's not about that at all. But rather, it's about having deeper, richer, and more meaningful experiences in your life. So we can't take any material possessions with us when we die. But what we learn from our life experiences remains as our state of mind after our awareness departs from our bodies, when our bodies die. So if we learn to let go of scarcity in all its forms and feel grateful no matter what our life circumstances are, we'll experience happiness, peace, and joy, and stay in these enlightened states after we've left our bodies, after we've let our bodies go through what we call death, and not feel the need to return to this illusory existence, being an apparently separate self in a harsh external world, to experience more scarcity, loss, sickness, and death. So it's freedom from the illusion, freedom from all of the negative consequences of the ego's illusory thought system. So I'm just going to show you the timeline quickly. So what I talked about here is well illustrated on this diagram. So we have pure formless awareness that's above the battleground of time and space. We have the so-called linear timeline, which is like a tunnel or a tube. We get sucked into that at birth, and then off we go, and we have all these various experiences along this linear sequential timeline, which seems to make time and space real, time-space construct. And then when we die, if we haven't corrected our mind, there's still lots of ego, psychological, emotional attachment. We've stayed away, we've kept ourselves away from the blue, any connection on that, then we will just bypass. Can't expect at your death to suddenly get it. So then you continue on this is called the wheel, cycle of birth, suffering, and death. And so you continue, you must incarnate again, come into the world again, and continue the journey endlessly, just skipping around pure formless awareness of perfect love, never fully identifying with it, skirting around it and being stuck in this time loop. Okay, so that will illustrate that. So then there's this parable of the dying king with the 4 wives. Did you watch that, Elaine? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I did watch it. Yeah, it's a good analogy. The wife number 1 being our body, and it's not, that's it, end of, go away when the body goes. Number 2 was our wife number 2 was it our
wealth? It was about material possessions.
Finances. Yeah, I was going to say finances and so forth. So she went on her merry way, and then wife number 3 was
she remarried. She said, "I'm going to remarry," which symbolic that those possessions will go to someone else. They're gonna go somewhere else. First wife, the body. The story goes. I'll just tell the parable briefly for anyone who's listening. The parable goes: there's this dying king. He's got 4 wives, and he feels lonely, that he's going to have to go alone. So he asks his wives if they'll come with him, and he gets various responses. The 4th wife, who he loved the most and he adorned with all kinds of jewelry and fancy clothes, just said, "No way, no, I can't go with you." and then departed. So that symbolizes the body. There's just no way the body's going with you into the afterlife, because it can't. So it's a physical entity. It has to remain here to be buried or cremated. The third one is the wife. He always feared that she'd get remarried. He also loved her, and she was very acquisitive. She liked all kinds of stuff. And so that's symbolic of possessions, material possessions, stuff, and he feared she would leave him and get remarried because your possessions don't stay with you. Someone else will take them after your death. And then the second wife was a loyal wife who managed all of his affairs, and he asked her, and she said, no, but I'll make the arrangements. I'll make funeral arrangements and so on. So that symbolizes your family, special relationships here. Yes, they'll make funeral arrangements. They'll give you a send off, but they can't go with you. And then his first wife, who he'd really neglected, was very undernourished and skinny, says, "I'll go with you," and that represents his eternal soul in the parable, his spirit, we would call it. That's eternal, which he hasn't been aware of. He's neglected, but now he's dying. He's looking for something more permanent. That's the only thing that's going to go with you. That's true awareness, pure formless awareness. So it's a good parable. Teaches us that the only thing that is of real value in this world is our soul, or our mind, if you prefer. Soul is not used much in the Course in Miracles. So it's our mind, our right mind, that is connected to our source, that knows itself as pure formless awareness of perfect love, that it is one self, the Christ, and makes the correct decisions accordingly. Which is the message of the parable. So to get back to our gratitude theme, gratitude opens your mind to experiencing all these profound benefits of love while you're still here. So you can have a happy dream, knowing that this isn't really real, this isn't who you are, none of it's really that serious. You can open your mind to experiencing the profound benefits of love and living in them. And this is one of the keys to escaping from the illusion of scarcity, which, as we've already looked at, is one of the core beliefs of the idea of separation that led to the miscreation of this world. Remember the ego. The ego has said that, just bring up this, in order to exist, it's had to deny love. So its whole existence is based on scarcity. We look at this diagram, sent into whole diagram, which we looked at very, very often. See that its entire existence is built on a foundation of denying pure formless awareness, perfect love. So it exists. It says, I have existence because you don't. Because I've destroyed oneness and pure formless awareness and perfect love and whatever you want to call this awareness. Because I've destroyed that, I can now exist as a separate self. And so can you see that its whole identity is based on win-loss and scarcity? In order to have my identity, something had to be lost. Something had to be destroyed. Something of great value. So fundamental to its identity is scarcity for that reason. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And that's why scarcity is at its absolute foundation, and you cannot get rid of scarcity, the thought system of scarcity, and still be in the ego. If you remove scarcity and lack and loss, then there's no ego left. And then you're just in the spirit, which is pure formless awareness of perfect love. Yeah. So interestingly, if you expose water to the words love and gratitude, produced what a guy called Dr. Masaru Emoto was a Japanese researcher who did a lot of water experiments. So he would take water and expose it to words, to frequencies, to sound, music, and so on, and then freeze it, and then study the ice crystals under a microscope. And according to him, in his opinion anyway, the most beautiful crystal of all of them was the crystal produced by the words love and gratitude. Then you can see a photo of it taken microscopically of what that looks like.
Looks like a brooch.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a jewelry or something. Beautiful.
It does.
Could be a
Amazing.
ring. So
Yeah.
it's beautiful structured design, and it looks really nice. So our bodies are made up of over 70% water. Imagine what your thoughts can do to your body.
Mm.
And help you stay in an attitude of gratitude today. Just take a few moments to imagine your body and your life as a beautiful crystalline structure looking like this water crystal. So close your eyes, breathing in. Breathing out through the nose, and just give yourself a few moments to just to feel, experience, and bring to mind this image of this beautiful brooch. You can open your eyes and look at it briefly and then close your eyes. Just breathe that into every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind. And just feel the feeling. So it's not just an image, it's a feeling. In your heart, you might want to put one hand in your heart center. You often feel gratitude in your heart, in your stomach kind of area. It's very much a feeling. Everything's feeling really, but gratitude is something you really got to feel, not just a thought. So you're done, open your eyes. Just notice how you feel, maybe a bit different. It's always good to reference the feeling, because that is what the attitude of gratitude feels like. If you can get used to that feeling, then you can capture it again. You can stay in it. You need to train your mind and your body into this new frequency of energy. Okay, so just to enhance your motivation to do that, here's an example of what negative thinking does to words. You disgust me. Looks like quite extraordinary. Look at the difference.
Mm.
So the one is a beautiful structured,
Lovely piece of jewelry. Yeah.
could be a piece of jewelry or whatever, and that's just a kind of a mess. It looks sick, doesn't it? It looks like that's
It does.
sort of diseased, and so that's just the power of an intention. The words carry a frequency, and that frequency then goes into the water.
Mm.
So imagine, if you're thinking those thoughts, your body's 70% water. Imagine what your thoughts are doing to you.
Yeah.
So
we're not just what we eat, we are what we think. But that's even more important.
Yeah,
food.
thoughts are most important.
Yeah.
What you eat and what you drink is a result of your thoughts as well.
Mm.
If you have this kind of energy in you, then what will tend to happen is you'll have a life that matches that. You know, the external circumstances, your habits
So what?
will tend to match it, because that's what your thoughts are like.
So your thoughts are like that. You're likely to be attracted to junk food.
Yeah, usually, you eat. If you think that you're less than worthy, that you're unworthy, then well, it doesn't matter what crap I put in my body. I'll eat anything.
Yeah.
Because I don't have proper self-respect, and I tend to then just look for a short-term fix. You know, oh, a bit of pleasure. Okay, I'll eat the junk food because it gives me a kick. It's, you know, it tastes nice, and then of
But
course,
there's also manipulation from the companies, because I saw a video this morning with regards to the food that we're eating, which is really processed, that has ingredients in it to really make you want this food more and more and more. And so
yeah.
now it's becoming bigger and bigger.
Hmm.
And it's not even the fault of the person. It's just we've been
Well,
manipulated.
we have to take responsibility. You know, yes, they chose. No one is forcing you to eat anything. You chose to put that in your mouth and eat it.
But it's very, very addictive, whatever the ingredients.
Yeah.
It's
So, but
super
then you see,
processed.
there needs to be an awareness of, okay, you know, there's information out there about, you know, junk food, and that this isn't good for you. But people will either ignore that, or they'll go, okay, and you know, I need to pay attention. So it really comes down to the quality of the thoughts. If they're thinking these kinds of thoughts, then that's their you know, what's their energy field is going to be like. Their body, which is 70% water, is going to take on these kinds of structures. And it's not
Sometimes,
surprising that you know, they're not very happy, and that often they get ill.
oh yes, but sometimes we don't have access to like whole food that hasn't been tampered with, that you can pick out the ground. Depends on the climate you're in. The supermarket, even fruits being processed. Even your normal whole fruits, well, what we think might be healthy, is been tampered with.
Yeah, but less so than, you know, junk food, for instance.
Oh yeah,
You go to the supermarket and you buy your veggies and your fruit. It's still much more natural than,
oh yes,
you know, something that's man-made and processed. So these are just, you know, choices that are really coming from your fundamental thought system.
yeah.
So you know, you see people's lives and their bodies take on the quality of their thoughts.
Yeah.
There's no accidents. I was in a supermarket the other day. It's an enormous lady in front of me, and you know, you look at her trolley, the checkout, and I mean, well, that's why you're enormous. Look at what you're eating. But
So addictive. So addictive.
yeah, but there needs to be an awareness of like, hang on, would I treat myself that way? Do I want to put rubbish into myself if I am infinite, eternal awareness? Why would I treat my body with disrespect? You see. So although the body is an illusion, the mindset that governs the body is not. That's going to be right-minded or wrong-minded.
Or maybe they're just not being educated. You know, I don't know.
Well,
Yeah, but
that's not an excuse anymore, because there's information available online freely. You can just go on websites, and everyone has access to the internet. So the information's there about, you know, so much free information on diet and well-being. So the reason why people don't do it is, well, you know, there's all this information. Why do then people still do things that are harmful? Why do they eat unhealthily? Why do they drink too much? Why do they smoke? Why do they take drugs? Etc. Etc. And it comes down to self-concept. They do that because that's what their self-concept demands, and that self-concept is sticky. You know, you have a guilty, sinful self-concept. To undo that, as we know, is a whole load of spiritual work. to
Yeah.
let go of your negative self-concept and accept the truth that you are infinite, eternal awareness is a spiritual journey, and that's what's going to make the difference. But that's not easy work to do. Much easier to whatever, sit at home, eat bad food, watch pop TV that's of no substance, drink a lot, smoke, drive, whatever, because it's a short-term sensational pleasure. It's like, okay, it gives me something immediately. It's a sensation, and then I get into the craving for that sensation. But this isn't true gratitude. True gratitude is, deeper. It's not for the form. It's for just the essence of who you are, your awareness, that's then extending into the form. So I'm okay as I am. Happens to be, lovely weather, nice summer's day. Great. I take who I am into that, and I perceive it. From my true self, and I'm grateful for it. So I'm not relying on the external. Oh well, I'm only grateful when it's nice weather. I'm grateful for who I am, and then I extend that into everything, all of my life experiences, even the ones that are challenging. Okay, because the challenging ones give you an opportunity to learn and to undo the ego. So the messages in water, just another way of measuring this. Saying, okay, well, you can actually quantify this and measure it and see the impact of your thoughts. So that's useful, helpful. Another proof, if you like, that the right-minded thinking makes a difference. It makes a profound difference to water. Well, water is fundamental to life on this planet. Water is fundamental to your body. So this is going to be fundamental to. So watch that. There's a video if you want to know more about Masaru Emoto's work and see some more water crystals. It's quite fascinating research, really. So that brings us to today's session which we're in, and the lesson. So let's have a look at today's lesson. Just get into that. So if you can read the original. Let me just start recording. If you can read the original, Elaine, and then the alternative for us.
I thank my Father for his gifts to me. I thank my source for its gifts to me.
Yeah. So I thank my source for its gifts to me. Is gratitude. And you're not asking. You're not thanking anything external to you. You're thanking its gifts to you are actually things like experiences or states like love and peace and joy. Those are the gifts. That those states are its gifts, not material things, not anything in form, really. That's what Yeshua is referring to. So there's some practices in gratitude which will say, we'll be grateful for, 3 things that you have, and it'll focus on form things. It'll focus on stuff you have, or relationships, or accomplishments, or activities. But that's not what this lesson is referring to. The gifts are states of mind: love, peace, joy, happiness, irrespective of form outcome. These are given to you eternally, forever, without limit, and without change. You can stay rooted in your source, then these gifts are there eternally. Okay, so you want to read paragraph 1 in the alternative first person.
Today, let me be thankful. I have come to gentler pathways and to smoother roads. There is no thought of turning back and no implacable resistance to the truth.
Implacable, I also say implacable.
Oh, no implacable resistance
That
to the
means
truth.
that implacable is kind of stubborn, stubborn resistance. So we change it to stubborn. Would that be?
Yeah, that's more usable word. Yeah.
Stubborn resistance to the truth.
Yeah. A bit of wavering remains, some small objections and a little hesitance, but I can well be grateful for my gains, which are far greater than I realize.
Change that to I can be extremely grateful for my gains. And maybe I am, so, but I am extremely grateful for my gains. Are far greater than I realize. Okay, so he's giving us a little, every now and then he does this, little coaching, saying, okay, so where are we in this process of awakening? Here's, a little check-in. So you're not going to turn back now. You're not stubbornly resisting the truth anymore. You waver sometimes. You have some objections, some hesitance. But by and large, we made a lot of progress. 123 lessons now into this process. So just kind of checking in, and as any good coach does, saying this is where we're at, and actually you're doing well. He's praising us and he's saying, yeah, you've done well to get this far. If you've got to lesson 123 and you're practicing the lessons, then you've done pretty well. Just the fact that you're reading these words means you've done pretty well. Because a lot of people get to sometimes lesson 3 and they stop. One lady said, I think she got to lesson 70 something every year, and then she would stop. She just couldn't go beyond it for whatever reason. There was resistance. So, if you're reading these words, then you're saying, well, you're doing pretty well, and give yourself a little pat on the back. That whatever you think you still haven't accomplished, actually you've come further than you think. Okay, so number 2. Let's again read it in the alternative.
A day devoted now to gratitude will add the benefit of some insight into the real extent of all the gains which I have made and the gifts I have received. I am glad today, in loving thankfulness, my source has not left me to myself, not let me wander in the dark alone. Be grateful it has saved me from the self I thought I made to take the place of it and its extensions. I give it thanks today.
Okay, so what's he saying there in summary?
To be grateful and thankful for what we actually do have in this moment in time. And the gifts that are there for us from our source. And not wander into the darkness alone. We can be saved from the little self, which we thought we made.
No, let's change that. Wander in the. Let me wander in. Limited awareness alone. Be grateful. I am grateful. It has saved me from self. Thought I made to take the place of its extension. I give it thanks today. And I thank it. I thank it today. So gratitude. I'm grateful to my source for all these gifts, that I'm not alone, that I'm not abandoned in this world, that the truth is still here, that I can know that truth. I can experience that truth as a felt experience of love, peace, joy, gratitude, abundance. And it's just acknowledging it. Saying, okay, just let me be grateful for these gifts and see that they are always there. In all of my experiences, these gifts are there because they're states that he's talking about. It's not form specific. These gifts go with me wherever I go. Doesn't matter what the situation is, what's going on, who's there, where I am. You know, these gifts go with me. There's lesson 30. Or God goes with me wherever I go. Source, true awareness goes with me wherever I go. Okay, so any other thoughts on number 2?
Yeah, that's very clear.
Number 3, I think a bit of translation here. So read the original and then the alternative line by line, sentence by sentence.
Give thanks that he has not abandoned you and that his love forever will remain shining on you forever without change. I give thanks that it has not abandoned me and that its love will remain eternally shining in me and forever without change. Give thanks as, yeah. Oh, did I not put it in the, oh, I did, it's in the personal. Right. Give thanks as well that you are changeless, for the Son he loves is changeless as himself. I give thanks as well as that I am, what's that? I am changeless, for the extension it loves is changeless as itself. Grateful you are saved. I am grateful I am freed.
I think maybe we just need to extension. My source loves is changeless. Is as changeless as itself.
I am grateful I am freed. I am glad I have a function in awakening to fulfill. Be glad you have a function in salvation to fulfill. Be thankful that your value far transcends your meager gifts and petty judgments of the one whom God established as his Son. And I am thankful that my value far transcends my meager gifts and petty judgments of the one whom pure formless awareness of perfect love established as its extension.
I've lost her. Oh, there we go. Let's fix that. 3. One, 2, 3. Sorry, that's 4. I was using ChatGPT to do this, and it took out the numbers. So on multiple attempts to let it not do that, it would just take out the numbers, put them back manually.
This year, your intelligence thing.
Yeah, Yeah, just wouldn't not that intelligent. Keep the
Okay.
numbers. Restore the number. No, we don't want to do that. We just take out the numbers. So, okay. No,
Okay.
not quite like a human, yet.
No.
But quicker.
Certainly does the personal summary. Excellent.
Summary is good at some things. Yeah, some summaries it's excellent.
For the layman, it's very good for the layman without all the, Christian jargon.
Yeah.
I like
So
it.
it'll be interesting though once this is all done. This is the end of once we finish this year's program. Most of the course will be translated.
Right.
We have documents for all the lessons, all the text, or the manual for teachers will be done.
Right.
But then you've got an alternative version of the course, and then the question is, what to do with it. I'm loath to publish
a book.
I don't really want to do that because it's
It's
more powerful if you chunk it down. It's
Yes.
bite-sized chunks. So okay, so every day you get your lesson and you get your your text reading, and there's an original, there's an alternative.
Yeah. Could you not do both? Because
No.
you can't beat being live because you have to concentrate. Whereas a book, you can skip over it. It's too easy with a book.
Well, you see, the idea is that the program, if you join the program, it brings it to life. It's not just,
of course,
it's not just a book. There's
no doubt.
Multimedia. There's live sessions. There'll be, all of these sessions you'll be able to access from the documents. So, I want to see the live session.
Absolutely.
Okay,
the only
click
thing
the
is,
link, go to YouTube. You see, so it's really a digital, it's a digital program. So anyway.
There's nothing better, obviously this, you concentrate and, for me personally, I there's many teachings, but this is very good for me. The only thing is, what about those people that can't afford it? Would you be offering scholarships?
Well, it's £12.50 a month. That's not a big deal.
£12.50.
Yeah. If you just want to get the content.
Just the content, but if you did a live one, maybe you'd have to do a scholarship for the poor people.
Well, possibly, but
then you would get
they can get access to, for £12.50. They can get access to the whole system and all the recordings. So
true, but the live is the live. I think really gives it that.
It is,
yeah.
But
no doubt, it makes you concentrate. It makes me not. I have to concentrate.
Yeah, well, it's the most interactive. It's going to be the best learning is a kind of a coaching element as well. So that's why there's an additional fee. But you just want the recordings and the material. It's relatively cheap.
No. For me, it's ideal for me. But I'm working, so that's fine for me. It's just I know I've got friends that probably would like it, but they just haven't got any money. That's the problem.
Or any money? Like
no, of course they've got some money. Yeah,
well, so £12.50 a month is like, okay.
No, I mean for the live. Doing the live. The live is the bit that way you get the real.
Yeah, well, let them start with the basic and see how they go. I might give it 3-week free trial so they can join and they resonate. And they say, I'd really love to do the lives, but I can't afford it. Can we make a plan? Yeah, it's potentially can, but do the let's see.
Obviously,
join one live call during the 3 weeks, because some people don't. It's like, well,
my age group, it's not so bad. I'm just meaning the younger ones who are struggling.
No,
like Mo, for example, it's not a problem for her.
Yeah,
because she's now retired, so she has no problem.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Money is a funny thing. People will find money for what they prioritize. For what they prioritize.
Yes, so, absolutely. Yes.
There's so the lady, actually the same one who had a go at me. I told you in the email about. She's like, skint, and she's like, I don't have any money, but she'll buy her cigarettes. Okay, well, that's like 20 quid a day. So you're obviously not that, not that tight that you can't, afford and alcohol.
Right.
So
It's priority,
people
yeah,
will,
I know.
what do you prioritize? People
Yeah.
find addicts will always find money for their addiction.
I
So
know. It's yeah, but it's
rather channel it, channel it to this, get not addicted to, that's the wrong word, but get inspired
involved.
by and really involved and engaged in a program
And
like this, and direct your time and your resources to this.
I always find the live is definitely makes you more involved because you have to concentrate.
There's no doubt, because there's no hiding. You can't just, oh well, I'll put it on and I'm listening while I'm busy. I mean, I listen quite a bit to like David Hoffmeister, while I'm working away with something. It doesn't go in on the same level because your attention is not 100% there. You're busy doing other stuff. You could say, okay, it's been going into the subconscious. Yeah, it's better than nothing, but there's nothing quite like, okay, you're 100% engaged, you fully hear, you're reading, you're listening, you engage in conversation about it. I'm asking you to summarize. That's as a learning experience. Help you to learn.
It's ideal for me, this. I mean, it's worth every cent because it's my concentration can sort of waver very easily. So it's very
well, that's the advantage of doing the live call. So anyone listening on the recording, join us. Why is there only one person? There's a community of 20 people. Why only one person? Anyway, it is what it is.
I think it's my lack of concentration. I have to do it because otherwise I wouldn't.
Otherwise you won't. So there's also that in terms of a program. It's like, okay, if you do it in bite-sized chunks and it's manageable and there's all these resources and live sessions, you're much more likely to do it and actually start getting it and understanding it. And if it's just, okay, there's a big book, off you go, read it.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I bought the big book, the big one from Circle of Atonement, and it looks beautiful, but
it's like, have you ever really got it dug into it? Probably not.
No, not at all. Occasionally I'll maybe go to a lesson, but that's it. So
it's to make it come alive, really. That's what you want. Comes alive in your experience. And then it's not just words, it's like I'm actually feeling, I'm experiencing, these things that he's pointing to, love, peace, joy, gratitude. I'm actually experiencing them every day. So I'm on this program and, it's helping me to have a richer, deeper experience of my life day by day. And as I do that, I start understanding experientially.
Yeah, because there are, like I say, each day there's always little tests, and even as the little ones, like the lady who ignored me the other day, once upon a time I would have sort of thought, she's not very nice, but I actually was able to rise above it and just wish her happiness genuinely. That was lovely.
So that's a good sign of your progress. Okay, she wasn't nice to you, but you blessed her anyway. Well, that's
and that was actually, I felt good.
What we've been trained to do. You will feel better, which is the whole point. Then you don't feel, disconnected from your source. You feel happy, flowing, abundant. And so your experience is enhanced.
Certainly.
So she gave you the opportunity to bless herself and you, which is exactly what Yeshua's teaching us. He's saying, well, you can always bless someone no matter what they seemingly have done or not done. And so then it becomes, well, I'm actually applying this and it does work. And I'm seeing that it's very practical. It's not an exercise in theory, this course. It's a course that's meant to be applied and learned and applied and experienced day by day by day, moment by moment. And I think too often it just isn't. The course is some theoretical exercise for a lot of people. They don't get the concepts. They might dip in and out. They might study it once a week. Even people who've, we might have been going for years to a once a week group. It's like, on what level are you really doing it? Is it you're just doing it for 2 or 3 hours a week? Or are you actually living this
living
way?
it?
You're actually living it day by day and advancing in your practice of it. Because that's, you want to be progressing with it and going deeper into it and living it more fully and more truly. And Well, that's that's the program. That's what it offers. Okay, you want to take it deeper, take a much deeper dive into the course, start really living it. Well, making it come alive in your life. This is what we do.
Yeah. No, it's
But you got to come. It doesn't just happen. You got to commit the time and a little bit of money as well to make that happen. Anyway, all good. So we're here, we're doing it, and it's going out to those in the community. So bless you all, even though you're not here. I hope it's valuable for you, and hope to see you soon. Join us. It's nice to have more than one person on the call, or more than two people. It's two of us.
It's always nice when John pops in, isn't it?
Yeah. So you may well.
Always when you say John's here, I go, oh, great.
Oh, that's like relief. The next, goes in waves. He may well. He tends to focus on the text. So
yeah, I like.
He may well
the
come in
too.
later.
Yeah, I like the text too as well. I think Christine does as well. Yeah,
Mm.
so it's great when they pop in. It's lovely. Yeah. So yeah,
it's a sense of community as well.
it is
nice to connect with
definitely.
the same people.
And it'd be nice because I'm meeting. Well, I won't be meeting Lynn, but she's coming here to look after my pets. So I think that's nice as well.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, I mean that's all part of the community, isn't it?
It is, yes. And also Sally kindly said that, if I'm ever in her area, I could pop and stay at hers. So I thought that was very nice too.
Yeah. Well, that's
so it is.
The power of community.
Yeah, it is.
Get to know people and friendship and extension of kindness and generosity.
Oh, definitely.
That stuff. Yeah. Okay, so today in gratitude, did you read number 4? Today we lift our hearts above despair.
I haven't read that yet.
Okay, so read an alternative. There's just 2 things to translate in sentence 2.
Today. Am I ready?
Yeah.
Today in gratitude, I lift my heart above despair and raise my thankful eyes, no longer looking downward to the dust. I sing the song of thankfulness today in honor of my true self, that pure formless awareness of perfect love has willed to be my true identity in it. Today I smile on everyone I see and walk with lightened footsteps as I go to do what it is destined for me to do.
Well, so the self that God has willed to be our true identity in Him. Translation was my true self, the pure formless awareness of perfect love, has willed to be my true identity in it. And I walk with light and footsteps, what is appointed us to do, what is destined for me to do. So there's a sense of an unfolding destiny, moment by moment. This is unfolding, and it could have been no other way. If someone says, well, it could have been different, or it should have been this way, you say it could have been no other way. That's the way it was meant to be, because that's the way it was. It's sort of self-evident, isn't it? But that was meant to happen, and then you perceive it correctly. The Holy Spirit says, well, everything was meant to happen, even extremely difficult, challenging, and so-called awful things, meant to happen because there's a lesson in it. So can I perceive it correctly and learn the lesson and be grateful for it? The toughest things you've experienced are the things you learned the most from. So why wouldn't you be grateful for that?
Yeah.
That requires an upgrade in mindset and attitude. It requires this kind of rigorous spiritual practice to be able to maintain that in the face of challenge. This is why we practice. Okay, so any thoughts on number 4? What's he saying there in summary?
Yeah, well, it's a very sort of pleasant. If we lift our heart up above all the despair and raise our thankful eyes, yeah, it's a very nice way to put it. Lighten our footsteps, yeah. Just smile.
Yeah, so he's talking about the happy dream, the state of flow, life is kind of easy and light. It's not, you're not heavy and burdened. You're grateful, you're thankful, and this is what he's training us to be. You know, living in the happy dream, as the awakened person in this world who extends that to everyone. There's a a lightness about us that people will resonate with, and those who are open to it resonate with, and you become the light of the world. You demonstrate that that light in your attitude, in your behavior, your words, your actions. So he's calling us to to be the light of the world and be the example, as he was, of an enlightened person whose mind and life has been transformed by Source, by a pure formless awareness of perfect love, so that you demonstrate what is possible for others to do, and then you go on your way and do what is destined for you to do. So if you're meant to meet someone, if you're meant to speak to someone, then that's how it'll be, and your life will unfold moment by moment by moment. All right, so moving on to number 5. Read it in the original and then the alternative. Let's do it sentence by sentence.
We do not go alone. The same in the alternative.
No, I do not go alone.
Oh, yeah. I do not go alone. And we give thanks to that in our solitude a friend has come to speak the saving word of God to us. And I give thanks that my solitude, the remembrance of perfect love, has come to speak the saving message of perfect love to me. 3, and thanks to you for listening to him. And the same, and thanks to me for listening to it.
Yeah, so that's needs a bit of I thank myself. Thank myself for listening to it.
For his word is soundless, if it be not heard. Its message is soundless, if it be not heard.
It is not heard, so say.
It is not heard. In thanking him, the thanks are yours as well. In thanking it, the thanks are mine as well. An unheard message will not save the world, however mighty be the voice that speaks, however loving may the message be. An unheard message will not free the world, however mighty the voice that speaks it may be, however loving the message may be.
I'm going to switch that, so let's put it. Almighty the voice that speaks. Mighty the voice that speaks, and an unheard message may be. Mighty the voice and however loving message may be. Almighty the voice that speaks an unheard message may be, however loving its message may be. It will not free the world. Cannot free the world. Cannot free anyone, because it's not being heard. So we must communicate. Communication means not just we express, but that it's heard. So we must listen. It's a receptive mind. Okay, so any thoughts on that paragraph?
Well, we're not alone while we're in this perfect love. We have to give thanks to that in our solitude, not our aloneness. And I thank the true self for listening to it, even though it's a soundless message.
The message is soundless if it is not heard. His message is maybe soundless, man. His message is ineffective.
Oh, okay.
What he means is ineffective.
Yeah, that sounds.
Is not heard.
Yeah, misunderstood that.
Yeah, thinking it soundless, So just it's because he's using imagery. The voice is soundless. Message is ineffective, is not heard. So I must receive. The communication requires both a giver and a receiver. I must receive the message and be open to it in order for it to be effective. And then it can free me. It can make a difference in my life. Okay. So next one, I think you can just do that one in the alternative. Thanks be to me.
Thanks to be me who heard, for I become the messenger who brings its voice with me and lets it echo around the world.
Change that to I am thankful to my capital self who heard, who hears, maybe, who hears its message. The other thing about publishing is then it's fixed. I can guarantee if we do this again next year, when we do it again next year, I'll change it again. We're like, okay, we can tweak it again.
Course. Yeah.
So it can always be improved. Thankful to myself who hears its message. I become
the messenger who brings its voice with me and lets it echo around the world. I receive the thanks of perfect love today as I give thanks to it, for it would offer me the thanks I give, since it receives my gifts in loving gratitude and gives them back 1,000 and even 100,000 more than they were given. It will bless my gifts by sharing them with me, and so in power and strength until they fill the world with gladness and gratitude.
Love, gladness, gratitude. Okay. So what's he saying? Summary of that.
Again, the same, we're thankful for our true self and hearing its messages. And then in turn, we bring that message to our companions. Well, echo it all around the world, just to the whole world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as I give, I'm really giving to myself. This is why as I give, I receive. So I give it to myself when I listen, and then I receive it because I'm giving it to myself. And this is why as I give, I receive. When I accept the gifts that come from my source is really myself. I'm giving the gifts to myself and receiving them myself. And in the giving and receiving, I learn that I'm one, that it's the same self that's giving and receiving, ultimately, see? So giving and receiving are part of the learning in this world, that there's only actually one awareness. And it all, in the end, comes down to the one awareness, in which there's really in truth, there's no giving and receiving. It just is what it is. There's nothing to give to or receive from, because there's no duality, see? But how we learn that lesson in a world of illusion, of separation, giving and receiving is one of the key ways to learn that. So it's to really start knowing that as I give, I receive, understanding that brings you back into an awareness of the oneness that underlies both giving and receiving. Okay. So to read the next one, I receive its thanks and offer mine to it. I think you're muted, Elaine.
Sorry. I receive its thanks and offer mine to it for 15 minutes twice today. And I will realize to whom I offer thanks and whom it thanks, as I am thanking it. This wholly aware half an hour given to it will be returned to me in terms of years for every second, and power to free the world eons more quickly because of my thanks to it.
Yeah, so what's he saying there?
Just giving 15 minutes a day is just going to benefit us hugely if we do take it in seriously.
Years for every second. Power
Yeah.
to free the world eons more quickly because of my thanks. So a lot of people say, well, he's exaggerating a bit. He's used 100,000 and 100,000 more, and he's saying for years for every second. Is he exaggerating? I don't think so. I think he knows that this kind of practice is going to save us lifetimes of effort. So every time you sit down and you practice, you're saving yourself potentially years, tens of years, maybe lifetimes of just unawakened living, just going through life, not aware of the truth. So we've been at this for a very, very long time. I mean, this might be your, who knows, 1000th lifetime, 10,000th lifetime. We have no idea. A lot of time has gone since the time of the separation. Many lifetimes have elapsed, and so he's taking that perspective and saying, well, if you've had 10,000 lifetimes, and this is going to be your last one because you're learning this, and for you, it might seem like, well, nothing much is happening, but actually you're saving yourself eons of time by doing this, because he's got a bigger perspective than we do. Because of my thanks to it. So practice, saying just half an hour a day, can have all these, really profound, long-standing, eternal benefits. Why wouldn't you do it? Again, trying to motivate us to practice. Okay, and then number 8, last paragraph.
I receive its thanks and I will understand how loving it holds me in its awareness, how deep and limitless it cares for me, how perfect its gratitude to me is. I remember hourly to think of it and give it thanks for everything it gave, its extensions, so that I may remember my source and myself, and I rise above the world.
Yeah, so above the battleground. And then go above the linear, look at the timeline. Above the world of time and space, and all of the drama and suffering and the conflict that happens on that level. I'm going to raise myself up into this awareness and stay rooted in this awareness above the battleground. And remember my source and myself. So source is God, and then self is kind of this intermediary bridge. So if we look at Holy Trinity, operating system for life, gives you another view of it. So actually, in between stage is to identify with the true self. Our experiences going on there in this world, and then those are interpreted by the true self, Christ, in you. So you have true perceptions of Christ's vision that come from your true self. So this would sit effectively halfway. It's not really space for it in this diagram, but your true self would sit there. So your true self can perceive the world correctly, but it also knows that it is one with its source. It also knows that it is really one with pure formless awareness of perfect love. So it becomes an intermediary between the worlds. This is why the Holy Trinity has Father, Source, Son, True Self, which can perceive using the Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit is the arrow up and down. Holy Spirit is about communication and reinterpretation. The self, the Christ, the one self, that's immortal, immutable. Eventually it will, eventually that self, I'll qualify that, eventually the self fades away as well. Its source is immutable, because if it's one self, then oneness, the principle of perfect love or oneness, underlies it. Eventually, there's no need for any kind of self, and no need for Christ's vision or true perceptions, because you just identify perfectly with pure formless awareness and perfect love, and surrender yourself into that. And so the Holy Trinity collapses into one. The true self and the Holy Spirit all bring you back to source, pure formless awareness of perfect love. Okay, so any other thoughts on this lesson?
Well, yeah, if practiced truly, then it really is a gift.
The experience, he's asking us to experience these gifts, to actually feel these gifts and experience them in the meditation, which is why he's saying take 15 minutes, give yourself the gift of actually allowing yourself to experience this. But it's not theory, it's practice and it's experience, which is why there's always a practice with these lessons. So speaking of that, shall we go into a meditation then?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you. You bless you too. All right. So just so just making yourself comfortable alone, bringing yourself into a nice meditation posture. Sitting on a chair, sit with your feet shoulder width apart, back straight. Cup your hands in your lap, close your eyes, and start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. And breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Clench the sphincter muscle. Muscle used to contract the flow of urine or squeeze the last drops out. That locks the energy in. Feel the energy rising up your spine into your heart center. Going all the way up into the crown of your head. Pausing at the top of the inhale. So it's a maximal inhale breath. You smile. Scan your mind. Notice any thoughts, emotions, related body sensations. Maybe there's some tension in your neck and shoulders and knot in your stomach. If there's anything unpleasant, notice it and just let it go with the help of your breath. In today's lesson, say, I thank my source for its gifts to me. So breathe those gifts in. These are the gifts of love and peace and joy and gratitude. Happy states of mind and being. Breathe those into every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. Is in the light, truth. Feel that, connect with it. Your source. And then just blow it out. Let go of any thoughts and emotions that cover it over. Blocks the awareness of love's presence. Just let them go. Going, gone. Pull the lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. And you just rest. Few moments in this deep peace and stillness. Now listen to these words. You can do these few paragraphs as affirmations. Just speak them aloud. So breathe in as I speak, and then as you exhale out through the nose, you repeat the words as I've just spoken. Just get into a nice rhythm with that. I'll help you with the first couple. I'll give you the instructions. So take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Say, today, let me be thankful. As you exhale out through the nose. Today, let me be thankful. Say it out loud. I want to put one hand in your heart center. It's really about committing. And breathing in again. So I've come to gentler pathways and smoother roads as you exhale. Breathe in again. There is no thought of turning back. Exhale as you speak that. Inhale. And no stubborn resistance to the truth. Exhale as you speak that. Breathing in. A bit of wavering remains. some small objections and a little hesitance. Exhale as you speak that. Breathing in. But I'm extremely grateful for my gains. Feel the gratitude as you speak that. Inhaling the gratitude into every pore, your body, every cell, every muscle. So far greater than I realize. So breathing in again. A day devoted now to gratitude will add the benefit of some insight. Exhale as you speak that. Breathe in again. Into the real extent of all the gains which I have made and the gifts I have received. Speak that aloud and firmly to yourself. Breathing in. I am glad today. In loving thankfulness, my source has not left. Nor let me wander in limited awareness alone. So just continue with the breathing. Inhale as I speak. Exhale out through your nose and mouth. In through your nose, out through your nose and or mouth. As I say these words. As you speak them, you exhale. So inhale as I speak. Exhale out of your nose and mouth as I speak. So I am grateful. It has saved me from the self I thought I made. Take the place of it and its extension. I thank my source today. I give thanks that it has not abandoned me. And that its love will remain eternally shining in me. And forever without change. I give thanks as well that I am changeless. For the extension my source loves is as changeless as itself. I'm grateful I am freed. I'm grateful I am free right now. I'm glad I have a function in awakening to fulfill. I'm thankful that my value far transcends my meager gifts and petty judgments. The one whom pure formless awareness of of perfect love established as its extension. Just keep breathing in through the nose as I speak, and then exhale out through the nose as you say the words after me. So breathing in again, stomach rises, chest rises. Some more inhale breath. Today in gratitude, I lift my heart above despair. So sense of breathing this gratitude into your heart. You put one hand in your heart center to connect with your heart. Really feel into it. Today in gratitude, I lift my heart above despair. And raise my thankful eyes, no longer looking downward to the dust. And a sense of being uplifted, looking upwards. When you keep your eyes closed, you can open them briefly if you feel inspired to do so. Really looking upwards, metaphorically speaking, to a higher thought system. So I sing the song of thankfulness today. In honor of my true self, that pure formless awareness of perfect love, has willed to be my true identity. In it, today I smile on everyone I see and walk with light in footsteps as I go to do what it is destined for me to do. Breathing in again. I do not go alone. And I give thanks in my solitude. The remembrance of perfect love has come to speak the freeing message of perfect love to me. And I thank myself for listening to it. So really give thanks to yourself. Breathe that gratitude in. Honor yourself today. True self that knows who you are, that is connected to your source, that is diligent in its learning of this course and its desire for the truth, in its spiritual practice, to experience more and more deeply this fundamental truth. This message is ineffective if it is not heard, however. In thanking it, thanks on mine as well. However mighty the voice that speaks an unheard message may be, and however loving its message may be, it cannot free anyone. You're only free when someone listens and applies the lessons. Breathing in again. I'm thankful to myself, capital self. Who hears its message. Or I become the messenger who brings its voice with me. And lets it echo around the world. Breathing in again. I receive the thanks of perfect love today. So as you inhale, breathe in all this thanks. Gratitude, joy, love. It's all given to you. See the thanks of perfect love today as I give thanks to it. For it offers me the thanks I give. As it receives my gift in loving gratitude. And gives them back 1,000 and even 100,000 more than I gave them. Gives them back 1,000 and even 100,000 times. More powerful than I gave them. It will bless my gifts by sharing them with me. Will bless my gifts by sharing them with me. And so they grow in power and strength. Until they fill the world with gladness and gratitude. Breathing in again. Say, I receive its thanks and offer mine to it now, in this holy time. And I will realize to whom I offer thanks. And I will realize to whom I offer thanks, and whom it thanks as I am thanking it. So just feel that there's really only one of you here. So you're seemingly giving and receiving thanks, but it's one awareness. I give thanks to it and I receive thanks from it. It's the same awareness. Everything collapses into this awareness. In this wholly aware time given to my true self will be returned to me in terms of years. For every second. And power to free the world eons more quickly. Because of my thanks to my source. So I receive its thanks. And I understand how lovingly it holds me in its awareness. How deep and limitless its care for me. How perfect its gratitude to me is. So just sink into this gratitude. Feel for yourself, your source, speak to you right now, which are in you, within you. There's nowhere else to go, there's nothing else to do, nothing else to think about. Just go inwards and experience the deep peace, love, joy, and gratitude for all of it that is given to you by your source and your higher self, all experienced by the higher self for the higher self, which takes you back to your source. True self leads you back to your source, which is the pure formless awareness of perfect love. And you rest in this self and in this pure formless awareness of the self, pure formless awareness of perfect love. This is the purest experience that you can have. Your true self lives in this state. Nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, nothing else to think about for the next couple of minutes. Just breathe, relax, be still, and know that you are true self, Christ, and the source, just pure formless awareness of perfect love as one right now in this moment. That is you. This is who you are. And you are blessed indeed by this source. Any thoughts arise that seemingly disturb this deep peace, gratitude, grievances, maybe the opposite of gratitude is grievances. Kind of resentment, anger, irritation, frustration, or fear, even desire. Breathe into all of that. Remind yourself of today's lesson. I thank my source for its gifts to me. Breathe them into every pore, every cell, your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being is infused with these gifts, which are really love, unconditional love, and a deep peace and a joy. Breathe in and connect with these feelings very deeply. And anything that is not that seems to block this awareness, you're going to let it go now with the help of your breath. So exhale, blowing it out, the breeze of your breath to the nothingness that it really is. It's going, gone. Lower stomach into the spine, expel the last remaining air out. And so just gently coming back from this deep connected state, this grateful state of awareness, bringing awareness back into the body, senses, the world, and the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So 1, just breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises, chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pausing at the top of the inhale. So again, scan your mind, notice any thoughts, emotions, related body sensations, anything that feels at all unpleasant, mentally, emotionally, physically. Breathe into it and say, I thank my source for its gifts to me. I love, peace, and joy, and so none of these other feelings and thoughts can be real. So I exhale and I just blow them out. The breeze of my breath And then go into the nothingness that they really are. Gone. From the lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. Just rest in this deep peace and stillness. In a few moments. Count of 2, notice the weight of your body pressing down into the chair, your feet touching the ground. Noticing what you're feeling with your hands touching. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth. Perhaps a smell in your nose. And noticing what you're hearing in the surrounding environment. Just noticing all these things from this very still, calm, and surrendered state of mind. So you stay rooted in the state. To help you do that, just practice today's lesson frequently. Yeshua recommends every hour at least. Remind yourself that thank my source for its gifts to me. And use a 2-minute breath break, and I've sent you to do that. Or follow the instructions I've given you in your Telegram or email message to do it in under a minute. Or just bring the idea to mind for a few seconds and dwell on it. You can't do any of that. Keep you topped up, connected to deeper gifts in your own mind that are always there, but unacknowledged. They can't help you, so it's all about bringing awareness to them. Which you've done and will continue to do for the rest of the day ahead, so have a very grateful, loving and flowing day ahead. So it is said, so it's done. And on the count of 3, open your eyes. And just take a minute to look around, observe the various objects in the room from the state of pure awareness. So judging, naming, labeling, interpreting anything. Just notice that it's the same awareness, very peaceful, grateful awareness. Doesn't really matter what you're seeing, you can still be grateful for it, because gratitude is just part of your eternal nature. It doesn't change, irrespective of whatever's being perceived. And look at something else, notice the same awareness, and again something else. Do that for half a dozen objects, just a couple of seconds at a time. Notice exactly the same awareness rising in your mind. Still there in your mind, actually. It's always been there. Same awareness as when your eyes were closed, or eyes open, perceiving the body's eyes or not, doesn't make any difference to that awareness. So just acknowledge that, and one more time say, I thank my source for its gifts to me. And gifts are that eternal awareness and the gifts of love, peace, joy, happiness that it brings me, that are always there, always available to me. They've never gone away. They can't go away. They are eternal. They are my true nature. So all I have to do is bring awareness to them, bring some attention to them, and then I will know that they are mine. So that brings us to the end of the meditation and the first part of the session. All right, so Elaine, what's you said you had a couple of hours. I think it's been a couple of hours, at least.
Yeah.
So
What
would you
time
like
is
to
it
carry
now?
on and do some text, or do you have to go?
I'm just, yeah, I'm all right for about half an hour-ish. I can do half an hour.
Right.
Sorry, I'm a little bit dopey after that.
It's okay. Yeah. So yeah, we can have a look at the text then. So this one is section 5 of chapter 15, called the Holy Instant and Special Relationships.
Yeah.
Or translated the Holy Aware Moment and Special Relationships. Okay, so we can go into it. Let's just stop the recording there. All right, so okay, so this is section 5, chapter 15, Holy Instant and Special Relationships, or the Holy Aware Moment and Special Relationships. Let's do a couple of paragraphs, shall we, before you go?
Yeah.
You want to read, yeah, speed it up. Just there's only the Holy Spirit there to translate, and the Holy Instant.
Okay.
So just read an alternative.
The Holy Instant is the remembrance of perfect love's most useful learning device for teaching me love's meaning.
Yeah, so the Holy Aware Moment is our translation of the Holy Instant. So that's when we bring our attention into the now, and we're just wholly aware. We're in the now. There's no distractions, and we're aware of our awareness in the moment. That's what the Holy Aware Moment is. And that state is called being in the now, being present. It's a state of flow, being miracle-minded. It's all about bringing our attention into the here and now. Okay, carry on. And this is, as he says, the most useful device, learning device for teaching me love's meaning. So how can I become aware of love's meaning except in the now? I can't do it in the past because that's just conditioned memories. And the future, which is all expectation and desire or fear. None of those ideas, movements of the mind or love. So I can only experience love, being pure formless awareness, in the now. Is why it says it's the most useful learning device for teaching me love's meaning. Okay?
For its purpose is to suspend judgment entirely. Judgment always rests on the past, for past experience is the basis on which I judge. Judgment becomes impossible without the past, for without it, I do not understand anything. I would make no attempt to judge because it would be quite apparent to me that I do not understand what anything means. I am afraid of this because I believe that without the belief in separation, all would be chaos. Yet the truth is that without my belief in separation, I would experience only love.
Yeah, so what's he saying there in summary?
The remembrance of perfect love's most useful learning device for teaching me love's meaning, for its purpose. For its purpose, suspend judgment entirely. Well, judgment always rests on the past.
Hmm.
And this is our way, this is how we judge. And judgment becomes impossible without the past. So we don't understand anything, we think. So we, to make no attempt to judge. Maybe that's why we're frightened not to judge, because there's nothing. It means not the
That's when it becomes impossible. Without it, I do not understand anything. So maybe we just need to clarify that. I think.
Yeah.
I do not understand anything. Let's look at the original. Without it, you do not understand anything. Oh. So for without judgment, now he's talking about judgment in the ego sense, negative sense. So judgment that makes things real, that condemns, that makes guilt and sin seemingly real and permanent and punishable. But if I think, if I make the past real, then judgment must come with it. Without it, without the judgment, based on my conditioned past, I think I do not understand anything. Judgment becomes impossible without the past, without it. I'm talking about judgment. I think I do not understand anything. I make no attempt to judge. It's quite apparent to me that I do not understand what anything means.
Because once we stop judging, then that's the end of the ego, isn't it, really?
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's addicted to judgment.
Yeah.
Pure formless awareness has no judgment, it's just appears. Judgment requires duality, doesn't it? Separation and duality. I, separate self, judge you or something else, seemingly outside of me, seemingly other than me. So let's just look at this. I'm just trying to make sense of what he's saying here. Let's look at the original. Judgment becomes impossible without the past. Without it, you do not understand anything. Without judgment in the past, it's referring to judgment there. You would make no attempt to judge, because it would be quite apparent to you that you do not understand what anything means. So I think maybe it will make more sense of I should make no attempt to judge, because it should be quite apparent to me. I know that I do not understand what anything means on my own. And it makes a bit more logical sense connected to the previous sentence. So if you read those two together, judgment becomes impossible without the past, for without.
Judgment becomes impossible without the past, for without it, I think I do not understand anything. I should make no attempt to judge, because it should be quite apparent to me by now that I do not understand what anything means on my own. I am afraid of this because I believe that without the belief in separation, all would be chaos. Yet the truth is that without my belief in separation, I would experience only love.
Yeah. So, however, I should make no attempt to judge. It becomes impossible without the past, without judgment. She always said, for without judgment. I think I do not understand anything. Judgment becomes impossible without the past and without judgment, maybe and without.
Yeah.
Rather than for.
Yeah.
Without judgment, I think I do not understand anything. Make no attempt to judge, because it should be quite apparent to me by now that I do not understand what anything means on my own. I'm afraid of this realization, because I believe that without the belief in separation, all would be chaos. So this is a common belief. People are like, I'm scared. I need my ego to keep some order in my life, to run my life. But he's saying the truth is that without my belief in separation, I would experience only love. Which is the ultimate order, the ultimate organizing principle is love. And then the Holy Spirit can guide you. Your thoughts, your words, your actions, it can all be guided in this very happy flowing way, without any emphasis on the past or future, just present moment. What should I do now? What should I do right now? You want to know? Okay, what should I do right now? No reference to the past, no reference to the future. And saying you can download that guidance, be given that guidance from another source, intelligence, beyond the egos, beyond judgment and illusion of time, past, future, beyond the timeline. You look at the timeline idea, beyond this timeline, which is rooted in past, future. You just go into the holy instant, and now you go up. It's like a helicopter going zoop, and you can go into that awareness, and then you can also download from that awareness. Now it comes in the now, and it has no reference to the past or the future, not related to your timeline, your story, your history. It's coming from the eternal in the now moment into your awareness. And so he's saying that that's always available, and that guidance, whatever you need on the level of form, will be given to you if you tap in and you ask for the guidance. But it's not coming from the past conditioning. It's not based on your story, your past conditioning, the ego's judgments, based on all that conditioning. It's just purely present in the holy instant, the holy aware moment. Are you aware of this awareness then, and you can download from it. You're in it ultimately. So the arrows ultimately connect you with this and bring you into oneness with it. But while we still here, it's in the operating time and space, it feels like a kind of uploading, downloading situation. I'm communicating with it, but that's the start of the oneness with it, the oneness of mind that will ultimately the arrows disappear, and there's just this. There's no need for communication anymore because you're just rooted in it. Okay. So any thoughts, any further thoughts on that? What's he saying?
Well, just the holy aware moment without any past is a much clearer, loving message, and not to fear it, to let it go.
To let go of the belief in separation and experience only love.
Yeah.
No past, no judgment. Ego says that's going to be chaos, that's its fear, but actually it's only love. And love can guide you very, very well, very functionally, very effectively in the dream world. That's being miracle minded. It can give you whatever you need coming from divine intelligence and operate on a completely different level from the ego. So this is the domain of the miraculous. This is where people like Yeshua, the Buddha, this is how they live their life. And you look at their, what they accomplished and the impact they had. It's extraordinary. Okay, so moving on to number 2, past is the ego's chief learning device.
And the alternative or both?
Just do the alternative.
Okay. The past is the belief in separation's chief learning device, for it is in the past that I learned to define my own needs and acquired methods for meeting them on my own terms. I have said that to limit love to part of the extension is to bring guilt into my relationships and thus make them unreal. If I seek to separate out certain aspects of the totality and look to them to meet my imagined needs, I am attempting to use separation to save myself. How then could guilt not enter? For separation is the source of guilt, and to appeal to it for awakening is to believe I am alone. For separation is so guilt, and to appeal to it for freedom is to believe I'm alone. Yeah. To be alone is to be guilty. For to experience myself as alone is to deny the oneness of the source and its extension, and so to attack reality.
Okay, so what's he saying here?
Well, similar. The past is a belief in separation, and this is our main learning device. For it's the past that we've learned to define all our needs. But Yeshua is saying that to limit love is to bring guilt into our relationships, and so making them unreal. So if we seek out to separate certain aspects of the totality and to look to meet our imagined needs, I am attempting to use separation to free myself. And separation is our source of guilt. And to appeal to it for freedom is to believe I am alone. And to be alone is to be guilty. So really, when we're feeling alone, we're denying our oneness of the source. and attacking its reality.
Now, to be alone is to be guilty. That's quite a statement, isn't it?
Mm.
To think that you're alone is to be guilty, because remember, aloneness is the idea of separation, and guilt is the consequence of separation. You must feel then like you've separated from your source. So aloneness and guilt go hand in hand. By aloneness is is associated with depression and lower states of mind. When you feel alone, you can be alone. Let's say you go off and you're meditating, you're communing with your source. Some of the gurus and mystics do. They're not alone. See? They don't feel alone. They're one with their source. So it's a state of mind from someone who feels alone, isolated, cut off, disconnected.
Yeah, it's not nice. I know that feeling.
When I experience myself as alone, I deny oneness. How can I be alone if I'm one with my source and one with everyone? It's not possible.
Mm.
Aloneness, the feeling of loneliness denies our source and invites guilt into our mind. And he's talking about earlier in the paragraph. Now we're getting into special relationships. To limit love to part of the extension is to bring guilt into my relationships. And so if I say I only love one person or a few people, especially, and I don't love others, then I've brought guilt in because I'm believing in the illusion of separation. Seek to separate out certain aspects of the totality and look to them to meet my imagined needs. And so this totality. Attempting to use separation to free myself. How then could guilt not enter? So this is the special relationship. And I think that through this device of special, making someone else more special than others, that this will somehow save me or free me. I'm attempting to use separation to free myself. But because separation is the underlying idea, guilt must enter. Because remember, guilt and separation go hand in hand, as do freedom and innocence. So I'll look at, where's the, that one's what I want. Ego, idea of separation, idea of being an individual self, of being alone, is underpinned by guilt and sin. Because I think I must have destroyed perfect love in order to do this. And when I go back to pure formless awareness, which is innocence, then the guilt is gone. So oneness and innocence and guilt and separation go hand in hand. And I cannot mix these. I cannot say, well, I'll look for some kind of freedom in one person, because that makes the idea of separation real in my mind. See? Because now that single person, I think, can make me happy, or that affirms the reality of separation, the whole separate system of the ego, and it denies the truth of oneness. So then guilt is a natural consequence, because that underpins the idea that I'm a separate self, an individual self. And this strengthens that sense of self. Okay, and the metaphysics of that. You want to explain it briefly and summarize it in a minute or two?
Yeah. Well, the past is a belief in separation. Well, it's a belief in the separations. Well, it's its chief learning device. Without the past, then it's connected to its source, and this is where we find our, everything that we need, love. And if we are in the limited love, well, it's not limited love, is it? Limited awareness, and then we can feel alone, then it brings guilt. And when we're attempting to use separation to free ourselves, then it's likely that, guilt will set in, because separation is the source of guilt.
Yeah.
And to appeal to it for freedom is to believe we're alone. So separation, yeah, that's a big one. To be alone is to be guilty. And then we're completely denying our oneness and our source. So, yeah.
To be alone is to be guilty.
Yeah.
So if you feel alone, then you feel guilty. And then you seek to project that guilt onto others. Makes you even more alone.
Mm.
Okay, moving on to number 3.
I'll have to make this the last one because I've got a few errands I need to do and I've got to prepare for the big night, the secret night. So I can do a quick 5 minutes. Or do you need...
Okay.
Is John not there?
John hasn't joined, no. So
he normally pops up.
Let's do the last paragraph, 3 for you.
Yeah.
You cannot love parts of reality.
Right. You cannot love parts of reality and understand what love means. If you would love unlike to God, who knows no special love, how can you understand it? I cannot love parts of reality and understand what love means. If I want to love unlike perfect love, which knows no special love, how can I understand it? To believe that special relationships with special love can offer me freedom is the belief that separation is freedom. For it is the complete equality of the at-one-ment in which freedom lies. How can I decide that special aspects of the sonship can give me more than others? The past has taught me this, yet the holy instant teaches me it is not so. W. Wholly aware. Instant.
Yeah, wholly aware moment.
Yeah.
Which is not so. All right, so what's he saying there?
But we can't love part of reality and understand what love really means. If we want to be like perfect love, which knows no special love, how can we understand, just being part, just love parts of reality?
Yeah.
And to believe that special relationships with special love can offer us freedom is the belief that separation is freedom, which of course is the opposite.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. How seemingly dangerous special love is, because it denies. It seems to be love, but it's not really love. It's a substitute for love, and it makes separation real in our minds in the guise of love. Isn't that just so cunning? He says at some point in the course, Holy Spirit's the answer to the ego, the belief in separation. And then in answer to the Holy Spirit, the ego made special relationships as its counter to try and keep us in the dream. Why would you stay here except for your special relationships? You think like, well, if you could leave tomorrow, leave right now, go into eternal bliss. What's the biggest thing that would keep you here?
My pets.
Special relationships, exactly. So, or it could be a person. It doesn't really matter. But any form, you have to be informed to have those relationships.
Yeah.
See, so that's what keeps us here, and it keeps us coming back over and over and over again to get some kind of special love here.
True.
Rather than accepting divine love. That's infinite and eternal and everywhere. It's not, divine love is not specific to any form. Can't be. Everywhere. So you start to see the dynamic then of this world. And special relationships is a major teaching of the course, which we're getting into now in this chapter 15, and then for the next 9 chapters. There's quite a lot of emphasis on the special relationship. So you understand what it does, what it is, how it works, its dynamics, so we can be vigilant against it. Because it's probably the most seductive idea of the ego. It seems to be love.
Yeah.
But it's not. It actually just affirms the belief in separation, as he's saying here. And with the belief in separation comes guilt and sin and fear and attack thoughts and sickness and death. So special relationship equals all of those things. See, just doesn't seem to be. Convince us that it's something good and something desirable. But if you look at what underpins it and what the consequences of that are, it's horrific. It's awful. Special love equals sin, guilt,
and when you lose them,
death.
When you lose them, they leave you in a poor state. And
the sorrow of loss.
Yes.
Because nothing in this world will last. No relationship will last because no form lasts.
No.
Everything dies. So you can't rely on that eternally for happiness and satisfaction. It's going to disappoint you at some point.
Well, this is why everybody just says, right, let's go for it. Let's get drunk and be merry.
Well, because the ego's given them, some illusion of salvation in those, doing those things. It doesn't work. And to really see this, this is the hardest lesson, I think, in the course to learn. Lesson of no special love, no special relationships.
Yes.
Because it's fundamental to the ego's existence in this world, to our apparent life here. That yes, we have special relationships. We're born into families with special relationships. You have a mother and a father. You then are more special to them, and they are more special to you than anyone else in the world, aren't they? That's how it's set up.
Well, generally, not always. But I know what you mean.
Well, your parents, they are your primary relationship for the first few years of your life.
They are, but in some cases, of course, children are abused, aren't they? And they don't get that love.
But that's still a special relationship.
Okay.
just a special hate relationship, more overtly, you see.
Yeah.
That would still be the primary relationship in that child's life and would have the most impact on them for the rest of their life. So we set up for it. We're born in to these relationships, and then we have to unwind our minds from them and say, right, I see it's just a setup. It's part of the human condition. We're born into bodies to parents, apparently, and we seemingly have no choice about who our parents are. We just kind of like, some, sexual act 9 months before leads to our birth, apparently, to these parents, and it's kind of rather random, but it's not. It's a choice we make to come back into a body.
Yeah.
And then to enslave ourselves into the body and this world and the special relationships that are entailed in our experience here. And now he's saying, but you don't have to do that anymore. You can free your mind from it first. That you realize what they are, that you don't desire them anymore, because you realize that they are just the ego's offering, and they will lead to death and destruction as surely as all of its others will. So how can you value that then? This runs totally flies in the face of all your human conditioning and society's programming and everything. So it's probably the hardest lesson to learn.
Definitely, yeah.
But we must learn it. To be free, we must learn it. We must free our minds from all sense of specialness in order to be perfectly one and free. And that is a work in progress, as you say. So
it is, certainly is. Lifetime work.
That'll be a lifetime of work to undo.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
The special relationships, and as they come up, and as you notice the tendency to attach to them, and any guilt that comes, and they can turn so easily to special hate.
Yes.
You notice all that, and you go, well, is any of that really love? If I'm honest. Is that really love? Is that really what I choose? Or am I willing to listen to Yeshua and let all that go? That doesn't mean you have no relationships in this world, but the way you relate, the way you perceive the others in the relationship is transformed, because you're not trying to make them more special than anyone else. And that's the work. Okay, so any other thoughts, comments, questions on that?
Oh, no, it's very interesting. Sorry, it's just I am going to have to start moving because I've got a fair bit to do. Yeah. So, appreciated that. Yeah, that's something I need to take in, and work in progress. Yeah. Yeah,
well, read the rest of it. I'll some 7 paragraphs to go. I'll read the rest of it when you log off and send the updated file, so you can read it tomorrow.
Just cut off there. Quite.
I'll send
you. Didn't catch what you said there. Oh, you'll send it. Yeah. Sorry, it was
I'll
just
send you the updated
sort
file,
of breaking off in points.
You can catch the
okay.
The rest of
that's great.
Oh, so catch up.
Yeah, and when I've got time to sort of digest it. Yeah.
Okay. I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. Maybe we'll do an afternoon later.
See you tomorrow. What time tomorrow? Because I've got work in the noon.
Shall we do 5
work
o'clock?
At 1 o'clock tomorrow instead of the morning.
Yeah. Shall we do 5 p.m.?
5 o'clock would be good. Yes, if that's okay. Yeah, that's good with everybody.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. I can do it. Yeah, 5 p.m.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. Yeah, great.
Hopefully, some others will join us. So.
Yeah.
Okay, Elaine. Have a nice time this evening, and
yes.
stay in the flow and practice the lesson if you can remember to keep you connected no matter what seems to happen.
Will do.
All
Thank you
right.
very much.
Thanks for joining.
Good
Okay.
session. Right. Namaste.
Bye. All right, so moving on to paragraph 4. Because of guilt, all special relationships have elements of fear in them. This is why they shift and change so frequently. They're not based on changeless love alone. And love, where fear has entered, cannot be depended on because it is not perfect. So it's become tainted and corrupted. Not based on changeless love alone. And its function as interpreter of what I made, the remembrance of perfect love, the Holy Spirit, remembrance of perfect love, uses special relationships which I've chosen to support my belief in separation as learning experiences that point to truth. So all of these special relationship experiences are learning devices for the Holy Spirit to point me back to the truth. Under its teaching, every relationship becomes a lesson in love. And that is what the holy relationship's about, a lesson in love. So not based on changeless love alone. Summary of that is that all special relationships are flawed because they're not based on eternal love, changeless love, and cannot be depended on because that kind of love is tainted then by fear. But the interpreter of our special relationships, the remembrance of perfect love, helps us to learn the lessons of love, the lessons of perfect love. And the lesson in perfect love. And the Holy Spirit, on the remembrance of perfect love, knows no one is special. So that includes our biological special relationships. So sons, daughters, mothers, fathers, grandparents, and so on. No one is more special than another. It's the truth of the matter. Yet, it also perceives that I've made special relationships which it would purify and not let me destroy. So it knows that I've made these relationships. We're born into them. We have no choice. We're born with parents. And then sometimes we get brothers and sisters. So it's a setup. We have these special relationships, whether we like them or not. And so it will purify and not let me destroy. So it will clean the guilt and the sin and the fear and the attack out of those relationships, purify them, in other words, and it won't let me destroy them. However unholy the reason I made them may be, it can translate them into holiness, into informs awareness by removing as much fear as I will let it. And place any relationship under its care and be sure that it will not result in pain. I offer it my willingness to have it serve no need but its. Change that around. I offer it my willingness to have it serve no need. No need but its. I can place any relationship under its guidance, shall we say, and be sure that it will not result in pain. All the guilt in it arises from my misuse of it. All the love from it. Therefore, I'm not afraid to let go of my imagined needs. It would destroy the relationship. My only need is to remember perfect love. Through the relationships. And what's he saying here? I offered my willingness to serve no need. I offer it my willingness. If I am willing, I'm willing to have it serve no need. No need but perfect loves. Place any relationship under its guidance. And then remembrance of perfect love's guidance. Sure that it will not result in pain. All the guilt in it arises from my misuse of it. All the love. And remembrance. It's going to make sense. It's just a remembrance. And of course, remembrance of perfect love will give rise to love. Therefore, I'm not afraid to let go of my imagined needs, which would destroy the relationship. So I think I need the person to be a certain way, to do certain things. All these expectations that really destroy the relationship because the expectations lead to grievances. My only need is to remember perfect love through the relationship. So any relationship I would substitute for another has not been offered to remembrance of perfect love or the Holy Spirit for its use. There is no substitute for love. If I would attempt to substitute one aspect of love for another, I place less value on one and more on the other. I've not only separated them, but I've also judged against both. Yet I judged against myself first, so I would never imagined that I needed my companions, as they were not. So yet I must have judged against myself first. I would never have imagined what I needed, that I needed my companions to be as they were not. Unless I perceived myself as without love, I could not have chosen them so lacking in lacking. So what's he saying here? So there's no substitute for perfect love. I attempt to substitute one aspect of love for another. I place less value on one and more on the other. Well, it's not love there, it's fragmented. So not only separated them, I've also judged against both. I've said that they're not love. So I've miscreated an illusion. This is how fear and guilt, sin arise. Yet I must have judged against myself, capital self first, or I would never have imagined that I needed my companions to be as they were not. As I perceived myself as without love, I could not have judged them so lacking and lacking love. So I must have perceived myself as without love, as lacking love, in order to judge them accordingly. And it speaks to expectation in relationships. So I have an expectation of someone, and I say, you must do this, be this way, then I'm effectively denying perfect love, saying that in order for me to be happy, you must be so. You must be in a way that you are not currently. But I would never have imagined that I needed them to be as they were not, unless I'd already perceived myself as without love. Could not have judged them so lacking and lacking love. So it all comes down again to our self-concept. If I perceive myself as lacking love, and I project that onto others, and I will see them as lacking love, and then I will engage in an endless series of special relationships to try and get the love that I think I'm lacking. But all the while, those relationships deny the love that I think I'm lacking, because they're not genuine love. They're a substitute for love that is actually fear and hatred in disguise. I judge them as like me and lacking love, and then both of us seem to be in scarcity, in the lack of love rather than in love. There's the ego's intention. Okay, so moving on then to number 7. Ego's use of relationships, or the belief in separation's use of relationships, is so fragmented that it frequently goes even further. One part of one aspect suits its purposes, while it prefers different parts of another aspect. One part of one aspect suits its purposes, while it prefers different parts of another aspect. Okay, so it fragments and separates. Thus does it. So it assembles. So it resembles reality to its own capricious liking, offering for my seeking a picture whose likeness does not exist. Yeah? So it's going to say, have a bit of that and have a bit of that, and it's going to make some kind of crazy reality in my mind that I think I need this or I think I need that. And actually none of this exists. It's all my own imagination. Offering for me, my seeking an expectation whose likeness does not exist. So instead of that, an expectation that is totally unrealistic, I think is what he means. For there is nothing in the state of pure formless awareness, heaven, or earth, that it resembles. And so, however much I seek for its reality, I cannot find it because it is not real. So I cannot ever find the reality of these expectations because they are not real, however much I may seek for them. So we seek and we don't find what we're looking for, and the ego keeps us in that fruitless search. Seek and do not find is this mantra. Remember, looking for something outside of us that's going to make us happy, some combination of expectations to be fulfilled. It's somehow magically going to make us happy, and none of that is realistic. None of that means anything. And so we keep searching and searching and never finding the answer, which is, of course, what the ego wants. Seek and do not find is its mantra, because if we really found the answer, which is perfect love, then that would be the undoing of the ego. So it has to keep us seeking but never finding the true answer to maintain its illusory existence. So happy to move on now to number 8. Everyone on earth forms special relationships. And although this is not so in the state of pure formless awareness or heaven, the Holy Spirit, or moments of perfect love, knows how to bring a touch of heaven to them here, a touch of the state, touch of pure formless awareness. Touch of this state, shall we say, to them here. In the holy aware moment, no one is special for my personal needs. Intrude on no one to make my companion seem different. And that you do not intrude on anyone to make them seem different. Out the values from the past, I would see them all as the same and like myself, nor would I see any separation between myself and them. In the holy aware moment, I see in each relationship what it will be when I perceive only the present. The holy aware moment, I perceive in each relationship what it will be when I perceive only the present moment. Only the present moment is the holy aware moment. So what's he saying in this paragraph? So there are no special relationships in heaven, but remembrance of perfect love can bring a touch of heaven, state of pure formless awareness, to these special relationships. To them here, to them in this world. In the holy aware moment, no one is special or my personal needs intrude. Personal needs will not intrude on anyone to make them seem different. So I don't have any personal needs, any desires, any expectations. I don't project those onto them, so I don't make them seem different because of my personal needs, desires, expectations, and so on. About the values from the past, I would see them all as the same and like myself. Yes? So there's no past conditioning, no timeline. Then I would see them in this wholly aware moment as they are now. In the present moment, no past, they are all the same. I recognize them as one with me, one with my source, one with this true awareness. And the past, just my conditioning and theirs, simply fades away and is undone. So in this wholly aware moment, I come into the present, no past, no future. I perceive in each relationship, in the holy relationship that it becomes, what it will be when I perceive only the present moment. So it's a purely present state of mind, no reference to the past or future, therefore no guilt, no grievances, resentments, that's all past, and no expectations and desires and fears, that's all future. And I come into that present moment and I relate from that present moment to the other person, and that is the essence then of the holy instant, the holy aware moment, and the holy relationship, which comes in that moment, where I perceive only the present and I'm at home again. So God knows you now. Pure formless awareness of perfect love knows me now. It remembers nothing, having always known me exactly as it knows me now. Holy aware moment reflects its knowing by bringing all perception out of the past. So removing the frame of reference I've built by which to judge my companions. So the frame of reference being the past is removed. It erases the past in my mind, and then I can't judge them in the same way. Once this is gone, remembrance of perfect love substitutes its frame of reference. For it. Or it being judgment. Judgment based on the past. Its frame of reference is simply pure formless awareness of perfect love. Remembrance of perfect love's timelessness lies only here. In the wholly aware moment, free of the past, I see or perceive that perfect love is in me. And I have no need to look without. See that perfect love is in me. I have no need to look without. No need to look outside myself. and snatch love guiltily from where I thought it was. What's he saying here? I let go of the past, I let go of a whole frame of reference based on the past. Come purely into the present moment. In the present moment, I come to know experientially pure formless awareness of perfect love. And this is timeless. It's a timeless, eternal state of awareness, free of the past. And I perceive that perfect love is in me. I have no need to look outside myself and snatch love guiltily from where I thought it was. So I don't need to look outside of myself, because I realize that it's in me. Perfect love is within me. I don't need to steal it, snatch, to steal love guiltily from where I thought it was. Get a little bit of special love, try and fulfill me. So I don't need to do that anymore, because I realize I have perfect love within me. And because it's within me, I don't need to look outside of me. I don't need special relationships to find the love that is already there. It's insane to look outside of you if you're aware that it's already there. And then I extend that love to all the relationships I already have. I don't try and create more, but if I already have special relationships, because we all do, then I extend this perfect love to them. I'm not trying to get anything now from the relationship. I'm trying to give. So it brings us into the present moment. Go to the timeline. Wholly aware moment. We are connected to our source. Moments of perfect love connects us to perfect love. We download, we upload, we're in perfect communication. We don't reference the past or the future in making decisions, and we don't need to try and find some kind of love, special love, on the timeline, in time and space, with another person. Because we realize we have all love, the whole of love, perfect love, in our awareness already. It's really the key message of this. So all my relationships are blessed in the wholly aware moment. So all my relationships are blessed in the wholly aware moment, the now. Because the blessing is not limited. In the wholly aware moment, extension gains as one. And united in my blessing, it becomes one to me. And so if I bless everyone equally, then everyone must become one to me. And the seemingly separate parts of the sonship, separate in my perception only, fuse into one. I realize that it's really only one Son of God, one extension of perfect love that I'm relating to. And that oneness must include me. So the extension relates to the extension, realizes that it is such. It is just the extension of perfect love. And in that realization, the Father and the Son, the source and its extension become one again, and the separation is healed. Meaning of love is the meaning, pure formless awareness of perfect love gave to it. Give it any meaning apart from it, and it is impossible to understand it. So love is only known and understood in pure formless awareness of perfect love. Nothing else can be introduced. I give to it I give to it any meaning apart from its perfect loves. It will be impossible for me to understand. Its true meaning. Give it any meaning apart from perfect loves. Not from the remembrance of perfect loves, because that's its function, is to help me remember love. It will be impossible for me to understand. So I give it another meaning, I can't understand its true meaning, logically. Pure formless awareness of perfect love loves every person as it loves me, neither less nor more, because it is our fundamental awareness. It's the one awareness we share. Needs them all equally, and so do I. In time, I've been told to offer corrections, as Yeshua directs. Offer miracles to make corrections. And Yeshua directs. And let the remembrance of perfect love, the Holy Spirit, bring to me those who are seeking me. Yet in the holy aware moment, holy instant, I unite directly with God or pure formless awareness of perfect love. And experience pure formless awareness directly. And so when I unite, I experience it. And all my companions join in my true self. Those who are joined in my true self are in no way separate. For my true self is the extension the sonship shares, as pure formless awareness of perfect love shares its self with my true self. In the holy instant, you unite directly with God, and all your brothers join in Christ. Those who are joined in Christ are in no way separate. Christ is the self the sonship shares, as God shares his self with Christ. And so Christ is the true self. Those who are joined in my true self are in no way separate, for my true self is the extension. The extension shares. As pure formless awareness of perfect love. Shares itself, capital self, with my true self. So let's show this relationship in this diagram. Let's look at the Holy Trinity. And you can see so this comes down from pure formless awareness of perfect love. The one self, the Christ or the true self, is a derivative of that. It comes from the awareness of perfect oneness. And we share in this awareness, so we share in the same self while we're here. The self can perceive, it has Christ's vision, so it can perceive the world of time and space, all the experiences we have here from one frame of reference. That's why it's very useful construct. So it's in one line. Pure formless awareness of perfect love then leads to the true self, inspires the true self, and the true self has true perceptions or Christ's vision, which is the Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit's reinterpretation of the dream world. So Holy Spirit, these reinterpretations, and the true self or Christ leads you back to God being the state of pure formless awareness of perfect love. Eventually it all collapses, the Holy Trinity collapses into one, and there is only pure formless awareness of perfect love. Yeah, so last paragraph, short one. Do you really think that you can judge the self of God? So do I really think that I can judge the self of perfect love? God, or pure formless awareness of perfect love, has created it, has extended it beyond judgment, out of its need, out of his need or its need to extend its love. Love in me I have no need except to extend it. Love in me, I have no need except to extend it. Perfect love in me, I have no need except to extend it. So it's in me, I need to just extend perfect love, and that's the only need, function, and purpose that I have in this world. In the wholly aware moment, no past, no future in my awareness. There is no conflict of needs, for there is only one need. For the wholly aware moment reaches to eternity, into the pure formless awareness of perfect love. Eternity in the mind of God, which is pure formless awareness of perfect love. The wholly aware moment reaches to eternity and to pure formless awareness of perfect love. It is eternal. And it is only there can be understood. It is only in this state, shall we say. And that is only in this state that love has meaning and is understandable. Okay, personalized executive summary. So the wholly aware moment is a powerful tool for learning the true meaning of love. It involves suspending judgment and recognizing that past experiences shape our judgments. Fear arises from the belief in separation. But without it, there is only love. Special relationships based on separation and individual needs introduce guilt and are unstable. Moments of perfect love can transform these relationships into opportunities for learning and love if we allow it to. I allow it to. It sees no one as special. It seeks to purify all my relationships. Shouldn't substitute or judge different aspects of love, for there is no substitute for perfect love itself. And my belief in separation distorts reality, but the state of pure formless awareness can be pure formless awareness can be brought into my relationships in the present moment. In that, only aware moments, no one is perceived, no one as special and recognize my unity. The moments of perfect love knows us completely and erases our judgments and past perceptions. Love is extended without conflict in the holy instant. In the holy aware moment where it gains meaning and understanding. I should extend love freely, as is the essence of who I am and my only true need. In the holy aware moment, there is no conflict of needs, for there is only one awareness. Holy aware moment is a gateway to eternity and pure formless awareness of perfect love. Only in this state can I understand what love is. Okay, so let's do a meditation for 10 minutes on this final one. So let's record that separately. All right, so this is just a meditation on the personalized executive summary of section 5 of chapter 15. It is entitled The Holy Instant and Special Relationships, on the Holy Aware moment and special relationships in our translated language. So just going somewhere you're not going to be disturbed, sitting comfortably, feet shoulder width apart, back straight, cup your hands in your lap, close your eyes, and start by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose, Breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises, and the subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Just pausing at the top of the inhale. Scan your mind, notice any thoughts, emotions, body sensations going on. Any kind of resistance at all, anything that feels unpleasant, negative, limiting, contracted. Just breathe in the gifts of perfect love. Today's lesson, I claim the gifts of perfect love. Remind yourself of the lesson, which I thank my source for its gifts to me. So thank your source. Breathe it all in. So every pore, every cell, every muscle, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being is in the perfect love, and experience the love, the peace, the joy, the gratitude. These are its gifts. And that just blows everything else away. So literally blow it away with the breeze of your breath. Exhale it out, letting it all go into the nothingness it really was and is. Pull the lower stomach into the spine, expel the last remaining air out. And you just rest in this deep peace and stillness. So breathing in and out through your nose. Feel the breath flowing into the nostrils and out of the nostrils. And as I say these words, you're going to breathe in as I speak them, and then exhale out through your nose. As you speak them, say them aloud as affirmations. So breathing in, the wholly aware moment is a powerful tool for learning the true meaning of love. And as you exhale, repeat those words. Wholly aware moment is a powerful tool for learning the true meaning of love. Exhale out through your nose. You speak it. Breathing in again. Deep inhale breath through the nose, blow the stomach up like a balloon. So it involves suspending judgment and recognizing that past experiences shape our judgments. Exhale, speak those words. It involves suspending judgment, suspending my judgment, and recognizing that my past experiences shape all my judgments. Breathing in again. Fear arises from the belief in separation. Exhale, keep that. Breathing in again, but without it, belief in separation. There is only love. Breathing in again. Special relationships based on separation and individual needs. Speak those words as you exhale. Introduce guilt. You breathe in and are therefore unstable. I foster guilt in my mind. And are therefore unstable. Very fractious, vacillating Guilt is not true, so guilt demands punishment, fear, attack, all goes with guilt, and therefore unstable and conflict ridden, shall we say. Breathing in again. The remembrance of perfect love can transform these special relationships into opportunities for learning and love. Opportunities for learning perfect love, if I allow it to. Breathing in again. It sees no one as special and seeks to purify all my relationships. Into holy loving ones, a holy relationship, to unconditionally loving ones. I shouldn't substitute or judge different aspects of love, for there is no substitute for perfect love itself. I shouldn't substitute or judge different aspects of love. Repeat that. Breathing in again. For there is no substitute for perfect love itself. My belief in separation distorts reality. But the state of pure formless awareness can be brought into my relationships in the present moment. Breathing in again through the nose. In this wholly aware moment, I perceive no one as special and recognize my unity with them. Breathing in again. Remembrance of perfect love knows us completely and erases our judgments and past perceptions. Remembrance of perfect love knows me completely and erases my judgments and past perceptions. It extends perfect love without conflict in the wholly aware moment. It gains meaning and understanding. I should extend love freely as you breathe in. Breathe it into every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind. It's perfect love. You should extend perfect love freely as it is the essence of who I am. It's our essence identity and my only true need. So breathe it in to every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being, this essence. Claim it as yours now. Say, I am perfect love. This is my one true need, to recognize this. And in the wholly aware moment, there is no conflict of needs. Say that. There is no conflict of needs. A wholly aware moment. For there is only one awareness. One pure, formless awareness. Of perfect love, which is God, which is in your own awareness, your own experience. See, so God is with you always in your own experience of perfect love, not some entity outside of you to be worshipped or feared, just your own true awareness of this perfect love that is there but covered over, buried. So our only task is to bring that awareness again into our minds. And we do that through the wholly aware moment, which is a gateway to eternity and pure formless awareness of perfect love. And this awareness and only in this state only in this awareness and I understand what love is. When I'm in this awareness, pure formless awareness of perfect love, then I have awareness of perfect love, then I know what love is experientially. I understand it deeply because I've experienced it. This is what Yeshua is leading to. So just for a couple of minutes, you're going to sink into this understanding. Go deeper in your mind. Allow this awareness to dwell in you, to arise in your mind. And you merge with it, you sink inwards. Take your attention inwards, into your mind, into the depths of your being where the truth lies. Always has been and always will be there, but obscured by all of your ego thoughts and emotions, which are nowhere in them. Only in this awareness can I understand what love is. So just allow that understanding to come experientially. The next couple of minutes of deep silence. Nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, nothing else to think about. Just very easy, observe the breath. Just let that happen on its own accord. Let your mind be free in this awareness. Free floating in pure formless awareness of perfect love. So that you come to know it as yourself. Your essence identity is this. Summary talks of it. Very essence of who you are. So merge with that. Experience it fully, completely and wholly in the next couple of minutes of deep silence. If any thoughts come up into awareness, stir this deep, timeless, formless awareness, and observe them casually and just laugh at them and go and blow them away with the breeze of your breath. Say, I claim the gifts of perfect love. And give thanks for the gifts. Perfect love, it's pure formless awareness, perfect love that is mine now in this wholly aware moment. And blow everything else away. The breeze of your breath, so nothingness that it really is. And you sink inwards and down into the depths of your mind where pure formless awareness, perfect love is, and you abide in this awareness forever, for all eternity. Give yourself the gift of that. Give thanks for that gift for the next minute or two of deep silence. So just coming back gently into an awareness of the body, the breath, the senses, and the world. On the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So 1, just breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises and the subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pausing at the top of the inhale, smile. Scan your mind. Notice any fragmented thoughts that are not perfect love, not pure formless awareness of perfect love. And just breathe in the perfect love that drives them out. Accept the gifts that are given to you by your source. Give thanks for gifts of perfect love. Breathe it into every pore, every cell. One hand on your heart, connect with your heart space. Say, I am this perfect love. I am pure formless awareness of perfect love right now in the wholly aware moment. And then you exhale and release and let go of all these blocks, gone, to the nothingness they really are. Count of 2, notice the weight of your body pressing down into the chair, feet touching the ground, notice what you're feeling, your hands touching, maybe there's a subtle flow of air in your skin, notice that, notice what hearing, feeling, touching, tasting, perceiving in any way, but from this state of pure awareness. So it's very clear perception, no judgment, no distortion, just pure formless awareness underlying all of your perceptions. Very clear, very light. This is the enlightened state of mind and being, being attained by masters like Yeshua and the Buddha. So just experience it. These are the gifts. This awareness is the gift of your source, which is true awareness, pure formless awareness, perfect love. So just stay rooted in this awareness, set that intention for the rest of the afternoon and evening to top yourself up with this awareness and reconnect with it. Use today's lesson frequently, ideally every hour. Listen to the short breath break I've given you, or follow the instructions I've given you in either your Telegram message or email for the day. To do it in under a minute. That should keep you connected to the gifts of this awareness and in a state of loving, flowing gratitude for this awareness. So it is said and so it is done. On the count of 3, open your eyes. So take a moment, just look around, observing various objects in the room in this awareness. Notice that everything sits in this awareness. Whatever you happen to look at, don't name it specifically or judge it or think anything about it. Just there, underlying it is this awareness. Look at something else, same awareness. And another thing, look at it, same awareness. Always there, always present, ever present awareness. It's nowhere it's not, because it's in your mind. God is in everything I perceive, because God is in my mind. It's like one of the early workbook lessons. So this pure formless awareness of perfect love is in everything I perceive, because pure formless awareness of perfect love is in my mind. Live that truth. Live that essence for the rest of today. And you will know that you are it. And you will experience the gift of perfect love that today's lesson talks about. So that's what I wish for you, a very loving, flowing, connected and grateful afternoon and evening. Thank you to Elaine for joining the session, making it happen. And I hope to see you tomorrow. Do an evening session from 5 p.m. UK time. That's 6 p.m. SA time. Join us then in the Zoom room. And if you want to join and you're not a member of the community, seeing this video on YouTube, then check down below. You can see a way to join us. Giving you a link and join us for, go and register and join us for the next masterclass. I'll be presenting soon. So thanks so much, and look forward to seeing you soon. Namaste, which means the pure formless awareness of perfect love in me acknowledges and honors that same awareness of perfect love in you.